Live from the Las Vegas Strip studio in Las Vegas, Nevada, it's BettorCenter Live. I'm your host, Brad Stein. You can watch us daily, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on LouisDiamond.com. Also, YouTube at Louis Diamond, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the weekend. Louis Diamond hosts that show, not me. A little bit too early. Oh, man, what a great show. We have 3 professional handicappers to help us make a little money, give us some great insights, some information, all right here. Coming up on the show, Major League Baseball playoffs, a little NFL, maybe some college football, a lot of sports, and of course, the most interesting play of the day. Let's introduce those 3 professional resident handicappers right now. Louis Diamond, Ross Benjamin, and Chip Chirimbes. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome back to BettorCenter Live.
Thank you, Brad.
Good morning, Brad.
Good morning. Oh, look, I got the Red Boys.
Good morning.
Red and blue today, guys.
What is it? See, we're in sync. We have red. We have a little blue, right? Louis, you're wearing blue. I'm wearing plum. I had to be the oddball. If I would have wore white today, we would have had the American colors, but not yet. All right, guys, let's find out what we learned. Let's start with Chip. What did you learn from yesterday? Beside that, it looks like the Lakers are going to win the NBA Finals.
Well, that's for sure. I've just been reinforced that Aaron Boone doesn't know when to make a move. He brings in J.A. Happ yesterday, absolutely has nothing, walking people all over the place. You could even see he was a little unnerved out there. But unless they have a pitch count to refer to, today's managers don't know when to make a move as far as removing a player or adding a player. No more strategy with DHs or anything along those lines now involved. And I just think that the Yankee management's in over their head.
Okay. We have to go to Ross, another Yankee fan. Do you have anything to add or anything different, what you learned yesterday?
Yeah, what I learned is you don't fall behind the Tampa Bay Rays. They're difficult to come back on, especially when you get into the back half of their bullpens, innings 7 through 9. I think Tampa Bay, if I recall correctly, has only lost 1 game all year when they enter the 7th inning with a lead. So we saw on a couple of occasions yesterday, the Yankees put men on first and second with nobody out in the later innings. And at Tampa Bay bullpen, strong mentality, got the job done. The Yankees struck out 18 times yesterday, by the way. Brad, and that tied or set a Major League Baseball playoff record for strikeouts in a 9-inning game.
You look rested, Ross. You took a day off, so you're going to have some hot takes today. I can tell you're eager to get on. You too, Chip. Both of you look very rested. You're wearing red. And that brings us to Louis Bag of Diamonds, the host on the weekends. What did you learn, Louis D? Because I know you were taking the heat, weren't you?
That's it. I learned that I'm going to take my money and run on this series. Played the 1 game, saw the spot. Probably a little lucky to cash that ticket, but the ticket was cashed. So I will pretty much just watch this series probably from the sidelines the rest of the way. I might give a little back with Miami and try to see if that extends a little bit. But the winner was yesterday. That was the opportunity. Got lucky to win it. I'll take it. I'd rather be lucky than good.
Yeah, Brett Favre used to say that. I'd rather be lucky than good. Always helps. Guys, Tampa Bay, New York Yankees, game number 3. This opened up with Tanaka on the line. -115 Yankees, currently -130. Over-under is still 9. Morton's on the mound for Tampa Bay. Chip, we're going to start with you. Yeah. Are you feeling a little Yankee-ish in this game number 3, our game number 1?
Well, I'm feeling kind of squeamish considering this Yankee team, it's all or nothing. If they hit a home run, they can score runs. But like Ross had alluded to, they get men on base, but they don't deliver that base hit or that double to continue an inning. They've got the big power bats, but they just don't score. Now, Tanaka, his first 6 postseason starts, he gave up 3 runs or less. His last time out this season against Cleveland, he gave up 6 earned runs. So I don't know if Tanaka, who's most likely is only going to go 5 innings, has it within him. And, that was an amazing stat that Ross brought out, that Tampa's lost only 1 time or hasn't lost at all since entering the lead in the 7th inning. That shows a more powerful bullpen than New York has. And I'm a little shaky with the Yankees here because of Tanaka's performance the last time out, though he is very difficult to hit. 1-1 against the Rays this year, 4.76 ERA. And I think that maybe Tampa's back in it here. Of course, they're back in it at 1-1. But I was thinking the Yankees might take all 3 games, but obviously that's not going to happen.
Ross Benjamin, I see you nodding. Do you concur with your buddy Chip?
I concur with most of what he said. I just want to bring my buddy Chip's attention, and I'm sure he'd be glad to know this, that Tanaka threw out his last start, Chipper, against Cleveland. As I alluded to back in that Cleveland series, Cleveland's owned Tanaka over the last 4 years, especially that current lineup. They were hitting better than 330 against them. So I'll give him a pass on that. I will say this, a tip for the bettors out there. If you're going to look at Charlie Morton's overall numbers against the New York Yankees, they're less than inspiring. However, most of his struggles, the majority of his struggles, have come in starts at Yankee Stadium. This game is not at Yankee Stadium. You look at his other starts with Houston as well as with Tampa Bay. When he faces the Yankees not at Yankee Stadium, he's been dominant in those outings. So just something to keep in mind going forward. And again, man, oh man, the Yankees, you better have a lead before the 7th inning begins.
Louis, bag of diamonds. Any diamonds in game number 1?
I'll tell you, they kind of nailed a little bit there. Charlie Morton has, 5 out of the last 6, or won 4 out of the last 6 versus the Yankees, and he's actually pitching rather well, going 5-2. We got 2 losses there in the middle of that stint. The game looks to – it's so tough. I mean, the under just seems to be the play here. Morton, not only has he won 4 out of 5 straight unders versus the Yankee, but Tanaka has been Tanaka out of the parka because 4 straight overs for him. It's a tough game, but I got to give the value a little bit to Tampa Bay. Not much, but I got to edge on Tampa Bay here. I think that Morton is probably a little bit in better form right now. Kind of a toss-up in the pitchers, but I'll give a lean towards Tampa Bay here.
All right, thanks, Louis. Our game number 2, Oakland at Houston. Opened up Houston minus 131, currently minus 105, over under 9. Houston has looked pretty good. Is this the game that Oakland gets back on track? And we're going to start with Louis Diamond.
I don't know. Houston, how do you bet against them right now? That's all I can say. I mean, I was willing to a few times. I'm just off that Houston train with or against. But I will say that the under looks a little inviting here today with the pitching matchup. Luzardo, 3-7 to the under his last 10 outings. Urquidy, 1-4 to the under his last 5 outings. So I definitely feel some under vibe here. Split out with Luzardo 50-50, but he did beat Houston twice. So you got to worry about that if you're going to be backing Houston here today. And Urquidy lost to Oakland twice. So you got to worry about that if you want to back Houston. I think you got to kind of sit back, watch the game. Both games went under for Urquidy. I got to feel that that there's a little bit of an under action here, a little underplay with the A's and the Astros.
Ross, would love to hear from you.
Yes. Thank you, Brad. There's a big difference here between these two teams. Both have recent playoff history. The difference being Oakland has limited success in recent playoff history, while the Houston Astros have a lot of success in the recent years during the postseason, and it's showing up in this series. That's my take thus far, what we've seen in the first 2 games. And yeah, Luzardo has pitched really good at home this year, but when he's been away from home, and again, this is at a neutral site, I get this, but he's pitched good in his home ballpark. When not in his home ballpark, he's been anything but effective. And Urquidy comes into this matchup in excellent form off his last 4, and to Louis' point, 3-0-1 under in his last 4 with a 2.22 ERA. 8 of 12 this year between these two teams have gone under the total. And Louis, by the way, Jerry Meals will be the home plate umpire today. And he's been behind the plate 70 times since 2018. 42 of those 70 games have gone under the total, which indicates to me He's a pitcher-friendly umpire. That's 60%. So just a couple betting tips for the general public out there.
Yes, nice pull there, Ross.
I was going to say that's an excellent nugget right there. 42 times. He is a pitcher-friendly umpire. Good stuff. And that brings us to Mr. Chip. Oakland, are they getting back in this series? Maybe.
I don't know about this. I feel like Dr. Evil came in and took the mojo, and now it's on the side of the Astros. Houston had around a 6-game winning streak, I believe it is here. Here's a team that didn't really play possum during the regular season, but didn't really show anything. They were 2 games under 500, and it looks like they've really rallied and put it together. I had Houston the first 2 games of the series. I can't change now. I'm going to stick with them. I'm looking for the sweep. I took Houston.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to skip game 3. We're going to go to game 4, the Padres and the Dodgers. This game opened up because Kershaw's on the mound for the LA Dodgers. Don't worry, it's not the World Series, so Kershaw's still usually pretty solid. Minus 160. It moved to, it's at minus 191 LA. 8.5 is the over-under. Chip, we're going to stay with you because you are red hot. Give us some great information.
Well, Kershaw now, his last time out against the Brewers went 8 innings, struck out, I think it was 13 or possibly 13, I believe it was. And it posted that brought his postseason record up to 10-11. He's got a 4.42 ERA with over 100 innings of postseason work. That is the highest ERA among any pitcher that's gone 100 innings in postseason. That being said, I think he's on a mission. Kershaw, because of last year, he really took it personally that the Astros end up winning and just the Dodgers really felt like they got cheated, and all of baseball got cheated. So I think Kershaw may be the side here. He seemed to have his groove after shutting down the Brewers in the game he had thrown. And a little surprising he didn't start game 1, but that may be because of his past history. Walker Buehler yesterday, he walked a few guys, and he didn't have that long an outing. But I think Kershaw is going to go deep into this one.
I believe in Kershaw. But it doesn't matter what the hell I believe in. It matters what Ross Benjamin believes.
Yeah, I know about his shaky postseason history, but he's been much better of late in recent years and his first start in this postseason. This is a guy, 11 starts this year. The Dodgers are 9-2 in those starts, 190 ERA and 080 WHIP. Their success in those outings has a lot to do with Kershaw's performance line. Again, I don't get caught up in how many innings a Dodgers starter can give you, even though Kershaw, out of all their starting rotation, is more probable to give you more innings because their bullpen, Brett, is just unbelievable. And it's if you think about a managerial strategy, when you have a bullpen like the Dodgers and you're looking at playing multiple series, in this particular instance, and it's an extra series you have to win the World Series, you're looking at protecting your arms. And this Dodgers bullpen is 0.68 ERA in their last 7. You have to allow an earned run in the postseason thus far, albeit it's only 3 games. I don't know how you go against the Dodgers here. I just can't lay that big of a number. You might want to entertain the run line. And the other part of the equation, very tough for us, San Diego. Great young team, but their starting pitching rotation has been decimated without Lamet, and then Clevenger, I'm not sure was 100% yesterday. They haven't named a starter today, so they're probably going to try to do it by committee. Again, that's my take on this game. Probably a game I'm not going to use, Brad.
The Diamonds of the Louis. What can you add? What can you bring to this game, the Dodgers and the Padres?
Well, Kershaw is going to be hard to go against. I know he's got a poor playoff history, but right now he doesn't have a poor history. He's won 8 out of his last 10 games, 8 out of his last 10 versus the Padres. So I certainly don't want to buck that trend. I think there might be a little value in the over because Kershaw is always overvalued or overpriced on the under. There might be a little value with that today. I think the only way you can really roll with the Dodgers is like Ross said, with a potential run line bet or open them up in a parlay with something else. I'm not sure if Atlanta's that play today. You can just keep an open parlay or maybe when we talk to football, you can maybe buy down the Bucks if you like the Bucks on the money line. So, but I would open up a parlay with the Dodgers and maybe a little touch on the over here today.
Thank you, Louie. Coming up next, I have two treats. Number one, the man on the street, Tony Cusimano. I think he's in the Lone Star State again. We'll find out exactly where he is and what he has to say. Plus, we have a special guest, new handicapper, going to join us, talk a little football. That is next on BettorCenter Live on LouisDiamond.com. Also, YouTube at Louis Diamond. Brad Stein here live from Las Vegas. Join us daily for BettorCenter Live with our professional handicappers, where you get sports information you can bet on. Stop gambling, start winning. BettorCenter Live. Oh, Cusimano with the cool sunglasses, where are you?
Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those peepers? I'll tell you, I am not in the Lone Star State. I am still in the Volunteer State, believe it or not. And if yesterday you recall, crew, I had on my Volunteer orange. Today I have on my Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders, because that's where we are. We're at the University of Middle Tennessee State, home of the Blue Raiders. I'm on campus here. You might hear some of the band tuning up in the background here. I'm at the stadium. This is Johnny Red Floyd Stadium. However, this game is going to be played. This is because I was in the greater Nashville area. That's why I'm here. We've got that hurricane, Delta, Beta, whatever it is. We've got possible rain coming to South Florida. So therefore, I will not be at FIU, Florida International University, home of the Golden Panthers. This is a Conference USA matchup. This is where Middle Tennessee State is headed to. Tomorrow on Thursday, they'll head out to South Florida to play conference rival Florida International. Now, a tale of two teams here. 2-2 Middle Tennessee State against 0-1 Florida International. The Golden Panthers have had two cancellations due to the coronavirus. They have a loss on their record this year against Liberty University, 36-34 loss. And then last week they had a bye. So they really, again, we use the terminology rusty, or they conditioned Florida International Golden Panthers. The other key with that team is they use three quarterbacks in their opening game. They didn't have much of a passing attack. They have failed to inspire much confidence in the coach. We don't know who the quarterback is going to be for the home team, Florida International. They're coming in at -4, and the over-and-under is 56.5. I really like the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders +4. If you want to talk about an interesting play of the day or the road play of the weekend, I guess we could say, it would be Middle Tennessee State. They are 0-4, but they could very easily be a 2-2 team with two tough losses. They lost to Western Kentucky 20-17. So they've lost two close games. The University of Texas San Antonio as well. So they could easily be a 2-2 team had some of the bounces of that football went their way. So here we are. We're at Middle Tennessee State University. They're +4 on the road this Saturday. Another reason I do like the team this Saturday is 17 of their starters at Middle Tennessee State University are from South Florida. So they should have a little bit of a fan base. They're conditioned. They're ready. According to some of the staff here, they're ready. They're hungry for a win. They're 0-4 going into Week 6 here of the NCAA season. So FIU, again, we don't know who their quarterback is going to be. They still have a lot to learn on the offensive side of the ball, a lot to figure out for the Florida International Golden Panthers. So with that, Brad, I'm going to throw it back to the crew there, all of the eye candy. Ross, Chip, Louis Bag of Diamonds. Give me your thoughts on this game, but I really like the Blue Raiders +4. Oh, by the way, they're also 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 conference games, and they're 8-2 against the spread against teams with losing records in their last 10. Of course, FIU Golden Panthers are 0-1 this year. So quarterbacking questions at home for Florida International University. I've got to go with the Blue Raiders here. So Blue Raiders +4 all the way. With that, I throw it back to you guys in the studio. Take it away, Bradley and Louis Bag of Diamonds and the eye candy there, Ross and Chip.
Thank you, Tony Cusimano, the man on the street, Middle Tennessee State. That music really relaxed you. I mean, you were really, really going, and then the music all of a sudden stopped. And then you started repeating yourself again, but that's okay. You were wonderful. That music was great. We got to do this more often. We are going to go to
Tony
our
Gulledge was
newest
in the background.
What was that?
I thought Tony Gulledge was in the background doing his.
No. If that was
work.
Tony Gulledge, you would have said, "You guys are throwing me a curveball here with that music. I wasn't ready for it." But anyways, can I restart my thought? What game were we talking about? I got it. Anyways, we're going to bring Paul. That's right. We're going to bring Paul Bovey, our new guest sports handicapper, to discuss some football. Paul Bovey, welcome to BettorCenter Live.
Welcome, Paul.
Thanks. It's great to be here, guys. I'm enjoying the baseball talk, and I'm going to shift into some NFL in a couple minutes and maybe some college football.
Paul, you can see we bust each other's balls over here at BettorCenter Live, so don't take anything personal. I can't believe they hired another stinking Yankees fan. Like, we didn't have enough. Now we have another one.
No,
I'm trying not to be prejudiced.
Not a Yankee fan. I'm actually not a Yankee fan. I actually won this jersey, and it's up there. It has some value. It's timely, so I threw it in the background. But if you check to my right, which you can't see, I happen to have a Mark Bavaro jersey up there, but I won't show that right now. I'm a little bit too embarrassed.
Show that.
No, and on the other, I don't want to move the camera because it took me a while to set this up. On the other side, I have a Michael Jordan Wizards jersey up there. So I'm going to just leave it on Jeter, but I want to let the record show I'm not a Yankee fan.
All right.
I like that, Paul Bovey.
He's gone.
No, he's staying. We accept that. Mark Bavaro, that's a great replacement, number 89.
I think we got another guy from the East Coast by his accent. Paul, you're from?
Yeah, I guess so. Another East Coaster, huh?
I'm an East Coast guy. Yes, I'm an East Coast guy for sure.
Where you
from?
Well, I pretty much ran the gamut in New York, Queens, Brooklyn, Long Island, Manhattan. So you pretty much name it, and I've laid down a foundation there and just moved on.
Nice. All right, we're going to move on, Paul, to your wonderful. Paul, we're going to move on to those football picks. What do you have for us in football, college, and the NFL?
Games off the board in the NFL due to COVID. Late news this morning. Stephen Gilmore contracts COVID, so the Patriots game with the Broncos is in a state of flux, as is the case with the Titans and the Bills. And there's no wiggle room there if they don't play that game on Sunday because the Bills go to Kansas City on Thursday night. But the game I do like is on the board, and I've hit it pretty hard. The Texans 0-4, but having taken on top caliber competition in the Steelers, Chiefs, Ravens, and Vikings. So I wouldn't call the Vikings top caliber, although the loss was close. They got down to the goal line. They're taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, who started out the season in promising fashion 30 with a win over the Colts, a game in which Indianapolis did not punt, but were the victim of turnovers, notably by Phillip Rivers, and getting stopped down at the 4-yard line. If you look at the Jaguars, they've only sacked the quarterback this year 4 times, and one of those was Joe Burrow sliding down to keep the clock moving. This is a game where the Texans are going to exploit a pass defense which has allowed 79 completions in 99 attempts. This is a defense that's giving up 400 yards a game and also has some injury concerns. Miles Jack went out of the game in the third quarter against Cincinnati. He had racked up 33 tackles in the first 3 games. And they also have a few cornerbacks, iffy, notably Herndon and Hayden. And this will spell disaster if these guys don't play. Either way, I'm going to look for the Texans under the new regime. Romeo Crennel has taken over for the fired Bill O'Brien, and I'm going to look for the Texans to rack up 38 to 41 points here, which will give Houston a cover and send this game over the total, which is now 54.5. I'm on this at 52.5 on the opener, but there's still plenty of room there.
Thank you, Paul. Do you have anything else that you would like to share with us here at BettorCenter Live?
I do. I'm going to look to this college game on Friday night, okay? We got Georgia Tech taking on Louisville. And Georgia Tech's season started out would appear in fine fashion with a 16-13 win over the Seminoles of Florida State. That win doesn't look so good right now because the Noles, of course, got blasted the next game by Miami. Then I'm not going to say they struggled with Jacksonville State, but it wasn't really as cool as it should have been given the opposition. Now, you look at Georgia Tech in their last two games, 49-21 loss to UCF. And while that could be excused, and by the way, UCF had two turnovers in the game, or it would have been worse. They allowed 20 points to a Syracuse game, which had rushed for less yards a carry in their previous two. They allowed 4.1. Quarterback DeVito had by far and away his best game, 13-24 for almost 200 yards. You're going to see Louisville and Malik Cunningham put some points up here. I like the team total for Louisville over the 34 and a half. I would also go over the game. I think you're going to see some fireworks here because I'm not sure Louisville can get the job done defensively either. They didn't look very good against King and Miami in that blowout loss. So I'm going to go over the total here, and I'm going to look and focus on Louisville's team total over the 34.
Thank you. That's Paul Bovey, our newest guest sports handicapper right here on BettorCenter Live. Gentlemen, we're going to go back to Louis Diamond, Ross Benjamin, and Chip Chirimbes. We're going to do game number 5, Thursday Night Football, unless there's anything that you wanted to add over there in Middle Tennessee, FIU, or anything like that.
Oh, I would want to add to Paul's points.
Sure.
One thing to keep an eye on, Georgia Tech has turned the ball over 10 times in the last 2 games. So that bodes well for Louisville. They're mistake prone. They have a freshman quarterback who's got a great future, and it's exciting at times this year, but he's still making a lot of mistakes.
A lot of turnovers. A lot of turnovers in that game.
Game number 5.
Yeah, Louisville hasn't protected the ball well. To Lee's point, Louisville, I think, has they haven't protected the ball well. They're -5 turnover differential through 2 games, and Georgia Tech is -6. So, I mean, that would be the only thing that scared me away from the over, other than that these teams tend to drive the ball down the field. The other, you look at it from the other end, they turn the ball over in their own territory and give the opposing offense just short fields. So, I do agree, though. I think I have a lead.
Here's a question.
Go ahead, Louis.
If you think there's going to be a lot of turnovers in the game, you guys think that'll go to the over or to the under? Where do you think that favors? Just throwing this out in left field because I think about it myself.
Again, it depends on where those turnovers occur. Paul brought up Central Florida, right? They scored 49 on Georgia Tech in week 2 at Georgia Tech, and they probably could have scored over 60, but they fumbled twice inside the red zone. So again, Louis, it could go either way. Both of these teams are.
I've been trying to figure out where the edge is, and it is tough to call because a lot of those turnovers happen inside the red zone. So I'm wondering if we're going to have to work on that stat. I really like to know what the answer is to that because this is obviously probably the 2 highest turnover teams in college football right now.
Yeah,
there's got to be something somewhere. I just don't know.
And again, Chip, I would want to hear your. Go ahead.
Small sample size at this point. The turnover is small sample size. And I would also say that where the turnover occurs, it's random. You really don't, it's not something you can handicap because you just don't know if it's going to be which end of the field it's going to be on. As Ross alluded to, it could benefit the scoring or it could detract from the scoring.
Yeah.
It is a small sample size.
Somebody might have had an edge on it, that's all.
It is a small sample size, Paul, but I would like your thoughts. I mean, but when you see 10 turnovers in a 2-game span, it's awful alarming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's alarming, but again, I would defer to sample
quarterback besides. Yeah.
It could be a trend. It could be an aberration. We just don't know at this point. It's just, and again, not much has taken place thus far this season, and sometimes these things just regress to the norm, so to speak.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right. Very
it's
fair. Good
concerning
points.
to me because it's a freshman quarterback too. I have to take that into consideration. But yeah, I mean, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I agree with Paul.
All right. Excellent
All right, so
points,
wait,
guys.
wait.
We're going to move to game
Go ahead.
number
Chip,
5, whether you like it or not. Right, Chip? We're moving to game number
Fine with
5,
me.
and that's Thursday. That's Thursday Night Football. It's the Buccaneers and Bears. This game opened up Buccaneers -3. It is -3.5. Wow, what a huge number right there. 45.5 is the over/under, and now it is currently at 44. We're going to start with Chip Chirimbes. Any thoughts on Thursday Night Football?
All right. Well, before I get there, I like to welcome Paul to the show. I know he's going to be a great asset. And the thing that I'm encouraged about is you guys know that I'm not a totals player, and I know that Paul is, and he's one of the best around. And now I have Louis Diamond and I have Paul Bovey to sit, and I can pick their brains and get some information on the totals. So I'm really happy about that. Now you're telling me on this Thursday night game at Chicago, I believe it is, and the Bears are an underdog at home to Tampa Bay, and that seems a little strange to me here, except that Tampa had that great comeback last week against the Chargers in the second half. This is a tough call for me right now. I just when you said that Tampa was the favorite on the road here, it sort of raised my eyebrow a bit. And I'm going to sit and do a little bit more research on this game tomorrow. Maybe you guys have a side or a total for me, and I can gleam off of you. But welcome to the show, Paul, and the best of luck to you.
Thanks, Chip. It's great to be here, and it's great to see you.
Well, I haven't seen you in a while, and next time you get to Las Vegas, give me a call.
I will do that, Chip.
That brings us to Ross Benjamin. Game number 5, Thursday Night Football.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Did
if
we
I
just
had
set
an
up a bromance? Did we just set up a bromance? I just wanted to know. That's all.
No, we're longtime friends.
Okay. All right.
No, I grew up
All
with
right.
Chip.
Sorry,
I
Ross. I failed at another joke. Go ahead.
It is what it is, you know. It is what it is.
Yeah, I don't want to break up a romance. So, are you guys good? I mean, you gave each other enough hugs and kisses, so we can move on.
Well, you can give me a call too when you come in.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I didn't get any eye candy love earlier, so I felt
Sure.
left
Yeah,
out.
it's only your first show, my man.
Yeah, it's only your first show, but I have a nickname for you.
What do you got?
Okay.
I love nicknames.
Paul Bon Bovey. You just add the J, and you're from New Jersey. You're from New Jersey. Go ahead, Rosario.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Okay,
one might
so-
have to stick there, Paul. Hope you don't mind.
That's not original. I have heard that before.
Well, it's original on this show. All right.
All right,
Ross.
Tampa Bay at Chicago. Tampa Bay at Chicago on Thursday night. Same thing jumped out at me is you're seeing Tampa Bay here as a road favorite, and with the hook on the 3, and they're even 4 at a couple spots. I have a early lean towards Chicago. I know a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy. I bet them over 8 regular season wins before the season started. I also picked them as a long shot to win the division. I don't know if that's going to happen. What I didn't expect Green Bay to be this good early on. But I will say this, that don't get too caught up with that game in Indy. If you look at Indy, they're making a lot of teams' offense look bad. That's a Colts team, I believe, that's given up just 48 points in their first 4 games. I think this is a whole different animal to be facing in Tampa Bay. They're great against the run, but they could be exposed in the air. I think Nick Foles is the right choice. The only thing I will say is this. I think Bears management leaves a lot to be desired. Look, you don't sign Trubisky to a 5th-year option on his rookie contract. You sign Foles in the offseason and give him $1 million. Now, why would you not exercise the 5th-year option on a rookie contract for a guy who was picked 2nd overall, then sign a veteran quarterback for a big contract, and then start Trubisky? It makes no sense. And now going to Foles, they just threw the confidence in management and the coaching staff in turmoil right now. I think Foles is their best option. I really think if they're going to make a run at a wild card spot or even a long shot at the division, Foles is your guy. Trubisky's had his chances. The kid should have never been drafted number 2 overall. He only had 1 year as a starter at North Carolina. And that's my take, guys. I have a small lean toward the Bears here early on. I'm not going to commit to a play, but that's the direction leaning in.
Can you imagine being a Bears fan and knowing you could have had Patrick Mahomes, but instead you traded up? Not only did you take Mitchell Trubisky, you traded up to get him. That's just crazy stuff. Louis Diamond, what do you have for this game?
Yeah, I can't back these Bears. I mean, I agree to an extent with Ross as far as Indianapolis's defense against an offense that's fairly inept is not real indicative of what will probably happen on Thursday night, and especially after their first loss at home. Now they're coming for a Thursday night win to try to make things better. So that has me a little concerned. But what the Bears really need to be concerned with is the fact that Brady got warm. Now, Brady got warm, but players have gotten hurt. He's got some injuries in the receiver corps, but he's going to have to probably lean on Gronk a lot more. I think they were trying to save him for playoffs. But now with I forgot the coach, O.J. Howard. With O.J. Howard now out with the torn Achilles, they're going to be, I would think it's going to be the Brady Gronk show a little bit here tomorrow night. I don't think the Bears, I mean, even though it's a position for the Bears, I don't think they're good enough for this. I think Brady will, he's got his guys focused right now. And as far as the two Arians and Pagano, there's something there with there's definitely something there. Arians was Pagano's defensive coordinator. So they probably have a good idea of each other's styles, which would lean towards the dog. But I'm still going to ride with Tampa probably on the teaser here. Went up to 5.5, back down to 3.5. That has to be because of wide receiver injuries that Brady's got to deal with. Tampa.
Okay. All right. So you're going to tease us. I'm going to challenge you. How fast can we spit out the most interesting play of the day? Louis D, we're going to start with you.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. The most interesting play of the day was I already gave it to you. I gave you the baseball game. Now it's slipping my mind. The Oakland
Dodgers
and Houston. There we go. Oakland, Houston under the 9. Now I finally got it out. There's my most interesting play of the day.
Thank you. We got it out. Chip. Most interesting play.
Well, I'm going to stay with the Houston-Oakland game as well. I think that Houston, after having such a poor regular season, coming in, qualifying for the playoffs at under 500, and now they just have turned it around. And like I said before, you got to stick with the mojo. And I'm going to say with Houston over Oakland to sweep the series. I've had them the first 2 times out. You might as well go 3-0.
You might as well go 3-0. But last, certainly not least, Mr. Ross Benjamin, most interesting play is who?
All right, before I get to my most interesting play, I'm going to take out one of the horns that we heard at Middle Tennessee State University when my man was on there, and I'm going to blow my own horn. NFL and college football pay selections, folks, 24-7 over my last 31. Coming off a 5-0 day. I don't know what that buzzer was about, but 5-0 day or 5-0 week in the NFL. If you don't want to hear it, turn it off. It's the truth. Anyway, as far as my free pick or most interesting pick, I'm going to go on Friday night college football. I'm going to agree with Paul. Freshman quarterback with Georgia Tech, making too many mistakes, 10 turnovers the last 2 games, as I alluded to. I'm going with Louisville here, and minus the 4.5 on the road at Georgia Tech.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're all out of time. That's Louis Diamond. That's Ross Benjamin. That's Chip Chirimbes and the new one, Paul Von Bovey. Have a wonderful day. BettorCenter Live, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, only on the weekends. I'm Brad. If you don't play, you won't win. Guarantee that. And a special thanks to Eugene, our technical director, our producer, Spotlight Film Productions. Get out of here. Get some sleep. Watch some baseball.